Blog Talk Radio.
Hey guys, this is Those Guys with your host, Matt Marrero, not along with Satish Ram as of yet. Funnily enough, Satish Ram is running late, but another funny thing is that we are recording this in advance. So we're doing it in advance, but we're still doing it live. So in a twist, in a strange turn of events, a bit like the double turns in this movie. And of course, the movie we're doing today is Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. For our first ever, and definitely not last, but we won't be doing this that often, our Monday Night Movies podcast. Usually we do Friday night movies, and by the time this is out, you will have already heard us talk about the Temple of Doom and just destroy it almost completely. But I definitely feel like this movie, while there are going to be some critiques, was just overwhelmingly, it was a lot more fun. And I don't want to say that just being fun means that a movie's better, because that just sounds silly, I would say. But there's something about this movie. I think just because the energy doesn't seem as dark, I guess the deaths became a lot less gruesome, and it just felt like the first movie. And I think that's really what I personally feel about, when it comes to a series of movies, right, when it comes to, movies in the same franchise, unless they're meant to be spin-offs or unless they're meant to evolve into something else organically and have the characters evolve with them, usually, it feels jarring, in my opinion, and it feels very awkward to have, the first movie of the series be so lighthearted and fun and have a nice little romp, and then the second one be so dark and even more, I guess I'll use the word ethnically incorrect. Because I could say offensive, but it's not even just offensive. It's just some of that stuff was just plain incorrect. So here, I think it was great that they went back to the Nazis, not because I want it to be, this callback, and because they could have went anywhere else, right? They really could have. I mean, heck, if they had gone with the Monkey King the way they originally planned, true, by the way, not even kidding, then I do feel like with the Monkey King, it could have been it would have been more fantastic, maybe a little bit more unbelievable. But again, there were ghosts in the first one. Let's all remember that. There were ghosts. So even though I think the movie would have been a bit unbelievable with the Monkey King, it still would have been nice. But look, I'm okay with the Nazis, right? Because again, we need to pick a villain, right? Like a central villain that everyone can hate. And there was one draft that actually had a cannibalistic African tribe. Jesus fucking Christ! I'm so happy that Spielberg brought in. I can't remember the name right now, but I have the name down in my notes, and I'll be able to look at that later when we get Tristan on the air, because I have to probably re-explain this to him, because he'll be on this podcast with us just soon. So is Matt stalling for time? You decide. But thank goodness Spielberg brought his guys in, because I don't want to normally sit there and have like a George Lucas hate train. Because I know we'll make a lot of jokes about Lucas. Myself and Anthony will make jokes when we did our Star Wars Wednesday. I'm sorry, myself and Tristan, rather, would make jokes, on a Star Wars Wednesdays podcast. Anthony and I would just make jokes in general, right, about George Lucas. But overall, I do enjoy what he has brought in terms of his general concepts, I guess. Just the idea that, having Star Wars be a thing, having Indiana Jones be a thing. I don't want to sit there and just say, oh, he never should have picked up a pen. What I do think, though, as I've said before, is Lucas with people helping him out along the way. I guess, he's a lot better collaborating is my main point. So because again, his first script for this film, or at least the person that he had chosen to work with him for The Last Crusade originally, I was not a fan. It just did not work well to me, and I'm really happy they ended up involving Indiana Jones' dad. I'm happy in a way I'm not going to say I'm happy that they killed his mom, but original, before the script. But it was nice to have this, I guess, this father-son broken bond, and also that, Indiana Jones did not only did have a mother figure in his life, didn't even have a father figure, really. And I guess it shows, really, in the character, and how he has treated women in the past, because he didn't really have that motherly figure in his life, or at least did, but then lost her very early on. So I enjoyed that. I enjoyed the fact that we had a woman, right, in the series who, while it is a little frustrating that she was not immediately, but she did end up being a turncoat. She ended up being a Nazi, which is kind of rough because I feel like in that regard, the way women have been treated in the series has really just, I guess, downgraded, if you will, or it's just gone down a hill as each movie has progressed. Because in the first one, we have, I can't believe I've forgotten her name on air. Great things, love doing this live. But we had her. I'm going to say her. But here's the thing about her. I liked her, and I think a lot of people liked her because she was able to be on Indiana Jones's level. Okay? She was able to be on his level, and yes, eventually the movie did get to that point where it's like, save me, Indy, and it hurt. It really did hurt me as someone who wants to see, strong female characters. But at the same time, while that did happen, we did have, moments where she got herself out of jams. It wasn't, Indy didn't technically have to save her at that point of the story, the point when we thought she died, because really she got out of it just fine. So that made me really happy to see. Then, of course, we had the second movie, and Temple of Doom, and I've said all I've had to say about that on the last show, but just very, recapping for 5 seconds about her character, I can't believe that they went with someone that, I understand, she was City Girl, and wanted to make her incompetent, but the amount of incompetence that they put in, it made it feel like she was just always the butt of the joke, and it was just really bad, to the point where Short Round is able to fight more than she is, and Short Round is 10. I know he's crafty because he was a pickpocket. He was an orphan pickpocket who had to live on the streets, but he was 10. And he's just trying to do what they believed were kung fu moves at the time. I really did not like how they treated her character. But now we look, towards this movie, and when we see, I'm going to look at my notes right here so I can actually know this character's name, Elsa. Yeah, my brain can't comprehend that it's Elsa because of, Frozen. But, yeah, so looking at this, with Elsa, while I understand that some might think it's a complete, downhill, just it's going to explode, just blimp exploding, because of the fact that she became a Nazi. But what I like is that at least she's on Indy's level, even if it's as a villain. I just wanted to see a woman that was on Indy's level. And here, while he did have to save her at some points, Indy's saving everyone. I mean, that's just how it is. He's saving every person there. Up until the end when his dad really saves him, he's just saving everybody. So I'm okay with that in terms of him having to save Elsa. But what I do think was very interesting is how her character definitely was very much in between, being a Nazi and being this, I guess, not Nazi, right? This not fucking Nazi. And I really enjoyed that, that character development for her, or at least that depth for her, rather, because you could see that, in real life. You can see that there were a lot of people at the time that didn't want to be Nazis, right? It's not as if everyone in Germany was just on board, but it got to a point where if you weren't a Nazi or you weren't a Nazi supporter, you would die. So, it was nice to see that she wanted to not be that way. Of course, the one problem that I'm sure some people will talk about, and I can understand it, is that she seemed just fine, with being a Nazi, apparently, until she meets Indiana Jones, and then it's just, oh, my God, I need to not be a Nazi right now. It's like, it's like as if Indiana Jones, with his magical penis, just solved everything in her life. Now, I'm going to bring Tristan Walter on the air. He seems to be on right now. Hello, Tristan Walter.
Hi. Oh God. Sorry,
Okay.
Matt. Had to fight off some zombie Nazis from breaking into my museum trying to steal a chalice or something. It was really weird.
It's always really weird, Tristan. Everything's always really weird. Now, for what you haven't been hearing, basically, no, it's fine. Everything's weird. Marion was the name of the female protagonist in the first film. And I could not remember her name, and I felt really bad having to call her on air because it completely destroys my point of saying we need stronger female characters. You can't remember their fucking names. But
good job, Matt.
So I hate myself right now, but it's okay because I quote-unquote stalled for time, if that's what you really want to believe, okay? If you really want to believe in that conspiracy.
Nazi zombies
What?
were breaking into my museum.
I know. Anyone that thinks I was trying to stall for time, you believe in conspiracies. That's just
wrong.
what it is. But exactly. No, yeah. I mean, that's just the way you framed it to be. It's just, but the point is, Tristan. So now we're talking about The Last Crusade, right? Indiana Jones 3, or apparently Henry Jones 3 or Junior 3.
God.
Junior Jones 3, double J to the 3. Which apparently, yes, I did not know this. This is my first time watching this film. Apparently, his name is Henry.
Yeah.
Matt did not know that.
Yep. We named the dog Indy.
Yes, which is funny because that was the name of, I believe it was the name of Lucas's dog. It might have been Lucas or Spielberg's. I forgot which one. But anyway.
I had some really good memories with that dog.
Yeah. But anyway, so we're doing this movie for our first ever, but not last, Monday Night Movies podcast. So this will be out on Monday. Well, when you see this is out, it will be out. But so I want to ask you what you think about the film, because I was originally saying, because I know you weren't listening in at this point, I was originally saying that, hey, this movie feels, I know like being fun doesn't exactly mean that a movie is better than another movie, but it just felt more in tune with the series.
Oh, yeah. Like, to be honest, by far, this is my favorite movie.
Interesting. I think
this is my favorite.
Yeah. I mean, of course, I haven't seen the fourth one yet. Ha ha ha. But I wonder how that will hold up. But anyway, it came out in the last decade, so it must be good.
To be fair, at least it felt like an Indiana Jones movie.
Yeah. So then,
looking at you, Temple of Doom.
Yeah, no, as of right now, I'll say this much. If this one, I think this one I could say does beat out the first, potentially, because it wasn't as rushed. But what I want to ask you is, so obviously it wasn't as rushed as the first one. Do you think at some points it felt slower? I'm sorry. That sounds silly. Because, like, no shit if it's not rushed. I mean slow as in, like, it's like, Matt, no fucking shit. Yes. When I say slower, I mean it's as if they made sure to put in extra time, letting it roll in how they cut it. Like, some scenes just feel like they know, okay, not that the plot is thin. I don't want to say the plot's thin, but they didn't want to travel from one place to another, so they would take one scene and just have a lot going on. It's not even a lot going on like dialogue, just a lot going on like, yeah, we're letting the camera roll. We're letting that go down real slow. We're letting that pan out here. Do you see what I mean?
I mean, I guess. I thought the pacing was really good for this one.
Okay, maybe it was just certain points for me, like when before Indiana Jones and his dad, Henry, basically before the fire hit, before they were on fire, it felt like they were there for a while. Not even shooting the shit, they were just there. Maybe it's just me. But I think
it was basically like Indy just looking around like, I need to figure out a way out of this. It's like, Dad, do you have any ideas?
Fair point.
None. Right. Okay. Here, can you reach my lighter? Burn through, start burning through the ropes. Oh, Junior, this is never going to work. Just do it. All right.
Yeah, no. Right. And I also, by the way, I love that Connery. It felt like at first it was like, oh, Connery's trying to hide his accent, and then just stopped giving a shit. No, like, because to me at first it felt like it was like, hello, Junior, like a little like that. But by the end of it, it's just, hey, so, Junior. Oh yes.
I thought I'd lost you.
It's very peculiar.
Yeah.
Just like I got to the point where I'm just like, just put some fucking makeup on him. He's fucking from Planet of the Apes, Dr. Dex. Like, it got to the, and believe me, look, I'm happy more than ever, like more than anything, that Indiana Jones's dad is James Bond. Believe me, I'm fucking ecstatic.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fair enough.
Yes, Indiana Jones' dad is James Bond, and they wanted to, apparently, as we talked about on the show before, Spielberg was really excited about making Indiana Jones because it's like Bond without all the hardware.
Right.
Right? So, because you can't have all that hardware because he's in the fucking 30s. 20,
well,
depends. 20s,
I mean,
30s?
we got to see where he got his whip hat and leather jacket from.
How did you feel about that scene?
I mean, I thought it was a little silly that he takes the entire outfit, but at the same time, it's like, still a cool outfit.
Yeah, no, you know why that felt weird to me, man? At least, okay, talking about the outfit specifically, like that part of it. We'll talk about other parts of it in a second. But the outfit part of it made me feel really weird because, like, okay, where do we see that happen again? At least personally, like, what came to mind immediately was, like, One Piece, right? Where Luffy takes his hat, yeah. And if anyone doesn't know the story, being very, very brief, One Piece, pirates, anime, the main character, when he was a little boy, he wanted to be a pirate. That's the thing, he wanted to be a pirate. And so Shanks, who runs his own pirate crew, they were in the same town, they hung out. Something bad happened. Shanks saved the kid's life. And basically, when he's leaving on his journey, he gives the kid his hat, the kid being Luffy. And Luffy's like, wow, thank you so much. And he really looks up to Shanks, right? Why is this relevant? Because in my head, it makes sense because, like, Luffy wanted to be a pirate.
Right.
And he looked up to Shanks. This Indiana Jones looking at this guy like, I fucking hate you, and I hate everything about you. But I'm going to dress just like you.
Just like you. Yeah,
it's
like that makes it a little weird. Like, the hat would have, like, if it was just the hat, that would have been fine. But it's like, the whip, the jacket, it's like, holy shit, man. Like,
also,
did you really hate your dad that much?
No, he looks so much like Harrison Ford. Like, I understand. They're like, we can't get Harrison Ford because then it'll be like, that's his dad? Like, obviously you can't do that, right?
Right.
But he looks enough like Harrison Ford that I'm looking at this guy and I'm like, if your mom was still around, I think you and your dad need to have a stern talking with her.
Oh, God.
Because they're, like, is this guy local? Because he was apparently talking to the constable, whoever, that constable. He was talking to the, what fucking era are they in? That's like, they were in 1913. They weren't in fucking, I mean, but no, they're talking to the sheriff.
Yeah, the sheriff, yeah.
But the sheriff, yeah.
The sheriff.
So, like, yeah, the sheriff. Talking to him, it's. I would assume they know each other. I mean, I'm sure someone paid off somebody.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
like, of course, like, no shit. But it still feels like, they, like, I'm sitting there, I'm like, do they come by the town often? Is that?
Yeah.
You
Probably
two
not.
look very familiar. Like, it's just. No, it's weird. Like, you two look very similar, rather. It's just weird to me that, it's kind of, like, I understand the idea that, oh, I will be better than you. I will do what you're doing, but, in other words, it's in the same way that, let's say, Elsa. It's like, I don't want, I can, I guess, get this by, and I don't, but I'm not a Nazi. Like, I don't want to do the Nazi stuff, but I'm here. Right?
Yeah.
In a weird way, it's kind of like, oh, I have to do this from the inside. A bit like how in the Daredevil show, which, no spoilers, Matt Murdock takes on a case that, in my head, I was like, oh, you normally wouldn't take on that case because they might be connected to Kingpin, but of course you want to take that case. You want to get in from the inside.
Yeah.
So here, that's how, like, in a way it feels that way, where Indiana Jones is like, I'll be like you, but nothing like you. So I am going on these journeys and these adventures, but I'm bringing these things to a museum, bringing them home, because that's
I'm doing it the right way.
I'm doing it the right way. But it's still so fucking weird with the exact fucking
But it's
outfit.
funny, because it's still the wrong way, technically, because you're still...
Which is
basically pilfering an archaeological site, not doing a proper excavation. But then again, when the tomb is basically trying to kill you, I guess, a proper excavation kind of gets thrown out the window. So,
which I think is hilarious. Because the movie starts, at least starts when he's when it gets to their present day, right?
Yeah.
And he's just, and he's conducting a class. It's hilarious. Just, by the way, so here's the correct way to do it, and here's the motherfucking Indiana Jones way of doing it.
to do it.
So you can do it the first way, or you can do it the second way, and the second way, you're giving people karate chops saying, suck it, suck it. But the first way, like, that's how it feels like. No, because it's great, because, like, Indiana Jones just like, this is the correct way. And I love it, too, because they're all like, yeah, that's the correct way to do it. It's just like, oh, Indiana Jones. Like, it just feels like it's just, like, you're talking to your, like, child, right? And you're like, hey, son, remember, don't fucking swear. Okay, Dad.
Right.
Thanks. Like, that's
do
how
as
it feels.
I say, not as I do.
Yeah, basically.
Oh, okay.
Just,
well,
it was just really
I love
funny.
the fact that it was basically me taking a lot of archaeology courses. Like, it's just such a smack in the face when he's in class. It's like, you don't read maps and go X marks the spot and that's where you find stuff. I'm like, yeah, you're right. That's not what happens. And literally, like, 20 minutes later, he's like, X marks the spot. I'm like, you motherfucker.
I loved it so much. Like, but I do like that it feels as if by the third movie they got enough backlash that they were like, okay, we'll have him teach the class.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. When he comes out, it's like, Mr. Jones, you have, 3 billion messages, and you still haven't graded these term papers. I'm like, oh, wow. That sounds a lot like my college.
Yeah, except what
the professor isn't, well, actually, no. A lot of my professors were out of the country going on excavations.
That's funny. They just weren't fighting Nazis, most likely.
No. They were most likely
potentially.
No. Maybe.
Like, there's about
who knows?
There's about like a 90%, maybe like a 75% chance they weren't fighting Nazis. About like 75.
Yeah.
But in all seriousness, though, I like that. Like, it's interesting because basically, I was talking to a lot of people about this movie outside the podcast, just, telling people, like, hey, like, I watched this recently, and here are my thoughts on it. And it was interesting because a lot of them came back to me and said stuff like, oh, but, back then, things are different now because it has been 30 years about 30 years since these movies came out, a little over for some, out of this trilogy, right? And so we talked about, different cultural this or cultural that, not realizing this, not realizing that. But we've realized, at least with the last two, they knew what they were doing. At least in this one, most definitely, in terms of them sitting there, it's 1988, right, and going, let's actually have him teach this during class, because I would only imagine how many letters they had written to them at the time. Because, again, like, people, or at least just people coming up to them, like, hey, just letting you know, not archaeology.
Yeah.
Nowhere close, in fact.
People watch your movies and are taking our treasures. Yeah, stop that.
Yeah. Can you just not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although, that was one thing that I really did like. Okay, there are 3 big things that I really like about this movie. And it's because it mirrors the first movie. Granted, it's a different adventure, but they stuck to their guns. Good old desert, good old fighting Nazis, and good old, finding clues and, doing the whole mystery of archaeology kind of thing at the beginning before the shit hits the fan. It's like, okay, you could argue it's a bit formulaic, but you know what? It's a good one. It works. And for what it was and a trilogy, it's like you could have stuck to that and been fine instead of the monstrosity that was the second movie.
Yeah, I mean, they could have done, like, it's funny. I was saying earlier, I'm okay with them not fighting Nazis. Like, there was a chance that Indiana Jones was actually going to end up not fighting, but I guess one of the villains would have been the Monkey King. Now, I know how that sounds to you, right? And how that sounds to many people. But, hey, it's fantastic. It's Indiana Jones. It's a bit more, it isn't as like, what's it called, grounded, I guess, as like Nazis are. But at the same time, there were ghosts in the first one. Right. There were, like, it's
also still a little bit grounded versus aliens. At least it's still mythology. Exactly. Although apparently at one point Indiana Jones was going to die and then be resurrected by the Monkey King. And he was like, I don't want to work with you. Like, it was going to get fucking weird. I'm going to be very honest with you. Like, in no way am I saying it's just not weird, but it's different and it's okay. Like, I'm not saying it has to be Nazis and we have to make the reference directly to the first movie. It's just that if it had been Monkey King, right,
but this tone.
Yeah.
I'm fine with it. The problem is that, and I was saying this earlier, before, I don't think you were able to hear this part either, there was a point where in one of the drafts, they actually had a cannibalistic African tribe. Holy fucking shit.
Yeah, that's not cool.
No, even though it's not, again, it takes place in the 20s, 30s. Oh, it's not.
No,
it's
cannibalism does not
still.
exist. I'm serious. Like, that was one thing we actually talked about in one of my classes. There is no documented, like, ritualistic cannibalism. There's survival cannibalism where,
there are
some people will eat others if they are either old and have died and they literally have nothing else to eat and they will die. Yeah, you'll eat whatever you have to live. But other than that,
there are horrible people, but there are not tribes that committed cannibalism.
No, there is no record of cannibalism.
That is
the way people think about it in like a movie, like this tribe of like huntsmen that go out and hunt people. No, that's not a thing ever.
That's so
never has been and probably never will. Hopefully.
Yeah, right. It's like, well, the clock hasn't stopped ticking yet, Tristan.
Yeah.
But
God.
Society still keeps going. But in all seriousness, that's very interesting. I never knew about that. Granted, I'm not the one that was pushing that agenda, right? Like, no, man,
like I get it. I just wanted to throw that out there first and foremost.
No, please.
I'm so glad that didn't become part of the movie.
No, had it become part of the movie, this may have been the worst. Even
if that was part of the movie, God, it might have even been worse than Temple of Doom. Jesus.
The only reason why it might have been, at least on a cultural scale, not on like plot scale, is because at least with Kali, right? While her depiction was an issue, it still was technically destruction. It's just they didn't take the creation part with it, but they still took something that was somewhat accurate. And also talking to Satish Ram, who is not Hindu but has people in his family that are, right? One of our podcasters. I'm talking to Satish Ram about this. When I was saying like Kalima, Hamnam Shivai, he was like, damn it, I know the root of those phrases. He was like, I see where they were going. He was like, I know what they meant by Kalima and Hamnam Shivai. So he was like, I know what's going on. So in other words, it's not like they were completely off. They just were. Like they were off, but not completely. And again, we talked about the monkey brain stuff. The eyeball soup was shit, but that was one scene. But having cannibal African tribes is just, it would just be fucking, that could have potentially made it, because that's just completely wrong. That's completely categorizing an entire group wrong. Because, it's not as if, because here's the thing, unless you had one of the tribesmen just be like, nah, I'm cool, Indy, we're good, right? Yeah. It would have been an entire fucking evil African tribe. And just for the record, just kind of thinking about it, have we seen black people?
In Indiana? Oh, God.
Yeah. Putting that fucking out there. Would that have been the first time we would have seen black people in this fucking series? Now, here's the thing. This is a very long time ago, so obviously things were different racially.
It still doesn't excuse it.
No. It excuses not seeing, sadly, an African-American person in a college setting based on the USA, or based on the USA, not on, what should be happening, but based on, remember, we said in the 1916, 17,
how
1920s.
It was during that time period.
Yeah, during that time. But good God, if the only time we would have seen black people would be as cannibalistic tribes, that would have just been so fucking... It's like, listen... I know the movie is depicted a long time ago, but the movies filmed in the fucking 80s.
Right.
And furthermore, it's not supposed to be a drama about things like slavery or about, connecting with these tribes or whatever. So it's just going to be throwaway evil tribe that eats people. Yeah. And thank goodness Indy can save everyone, because that's what we need, the white man coming in. Like, holy fucking shit. Holy fucking shit, I'm happy someone put that to rest.
Oh, yes. Oh, thank God.
Okay. But we did have Christ Warriors, though, in the movie. That was nice.
Yes, that was interesting. Oh, for once, the secret society isn't the bad guys. I was like, oh, yeah. No. I forgot about that. Oh, God, I'm so sorry that they all got slaughtered by the end.
No, it's just hilarious. Like, you just have the Illuminati just like, whoa. We're not Nazis, okay?
Yeah.
Listen, okay? We control
dude,
every
we're trying
little
to
bit of
protect
society.
the Grail. Fuck you.
Yeah. We control society, the media, everything. We own pretty much all the money in the world, but we're not Nazis. Okay, that's some scary shit.
Oh, God.
We don't burn books. We write them. Oh, God.
Oh, God.
Like, we don't burn history. We just rewrite it. But anyway, but yeah, it's, what? That
was one of the other things, two other things that I really love about this movie, or the first one was actually just funny.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of things like, that they had this, and this, I'm pretty sure they had almost every form of transportation available to people at that time in that movie.
Right, which was nice, because it really, in my head, I forgot where they were, like time frame, where it's like, oh, we're heading on, like, I got the first flight out of here, and it wasn't a plane. Because my brain,
it was a Zeppelin. It's like, whoa.
Yes. Right, it's funny. It was like, right, they're not going to be on a real plane, Matt.
But, first we had, oh, God, I mean, we had a car chase. We had a horseback car chase running onto a train to start the movie off. Like, Indy started young, goddamn.
What's really funny, though, is I like that in some ways he was incompetent. The problem is he didn't stick with that motif throughout the entire thing. Where, like him not being able to jump on the horse or the thing breaking, I was like, okay, yeah, this is not, this is clearly Indy's first rodeo. It's fine.
Right, yeah.
He
did pretty damn good for his first rodeo.
But that's what I'm saying. Once he got on the train, I'm like, guys, you just had the whole, oh, man, he doesn't know what he's doing. Now, apparently, Indiana Jones is a fucking magician.
Yeah. Well, I'm pretty sure they had a magician car, but I don't think they got to that one before they, jumped off the train.
What do you mean? No,
it was a traveling circus car.
Yeah, no, he was in the magician's car. Remember, he got into the box.
Oh, right, okay.
That's what I'm trying to say. No, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, apparently Indiana Jones is a fucking magician, where just 5 minutes ago it was like, can't even fucking call a horse.
Yeah. Well, I think it was just the horse was like, oh, cheeky horse.
I guess so. But, like, in my opinion, it felt like it was his first time. You know what I'm saying? It was his first time being Indiana Jones. It's hard. It's hard to be Indiana Jones.
He was a lot more competent than the rest of his scout troop.
That's what's even funnier.
He just comes out, everyone's lost but me.
What's really funny, though, is I took that more as, Indy, you're the one that went into that temple alone. Are you sure that you're where you're supposed to be?
Yes.
Like, for some reason, it just felt like Indiana Jones goes off the trail and sees cool shit elsewhere. Everyone's lost. Indy, I think you didn't follow the path.
Nope, definitely where he needs to be. It was destiny, Matt, and I won't have anything else as an answer for it.
Oh, my God. I still can't believe he took that other guy's look completely. What the fuck, man? It would have made so much more sense if that guy was nice and also his dad. Like, why? Yeah. Why would you? I've never sat there and I've never, looked at someone and I've gone, I don't like you at all. I'm going to dress like you. just fucking like you. Right? Like I don't look at characters in movies that I dislike and go, I want your outfit. Just because I hate you.
Oh, well, okay. I mean, I was going to say Darth Vader, but
not because you didn't sit there and be like, I hate you so hard I want your outfit.
True. I said,
yes.
I hate you, but that is a bitchin' outfit.
Basically,
but that cape.
Yes.
That cape.
Yes. I have a question for you. This is a legitimate question. I got mad at it, but maybe you can help me here. Why would Indiana Jones use champagne on a slab?
Wait. What scene was this?
This was early on in the movie when he thought the guy was nice and was like, your father's been kidnapped. And I guess he wanted to test if the slab was real or like what era it was from or something. But he used alcohol and he just rubs it right on a fucking slab. And I'm like, what the fuck, man? Would you be able to help me with that? Is there like a compound or something that's like, oh, this will test?
I mean, well, because alcohol, it's not an acid. Although maybe champagne would be a bit more acidic. Like saying testing if it was real, like, because
yes,
some stones would like effervesce, like give a bubbly kind of, or like dissolving and would like bubble if acidity was put on it. But I don't think champagne would do that. I think I guess that's really what it was. Like, don't insult me. Like, this isn't real. And he just tested it to see if it was, I guess. But
okay, because he was really looking like hard at it. So that makes sense.
That is kind of weird.
I just want to ask you because like I sat there and I was like, oh god, Tristan's senses must be tingling. Like, are you fucking serious?
No, there are definitely better ways of going, I don't think this is real. Yeah, you don't dump champagne on an artifact that you think it's not real. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
also,
not a thing we do.
I was happy that we found out why Indiana Jones is scared of snakes. That was a nice touch.
Yeah. Although, like, I love it because the one other kid at first, he's like, stop freaking out. It's just a snake. Then he falls into a giant, like, a full tub of them, and it's like, well, all right, I guess. I guess that was a bit traumatizing.
I mean, yeah, it would be. Especially because they were still there even when he left the fucking thing.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Also, those rats. My God.
Yeah, geez, I was going to say, I was like, I'd be more afraid of the rats than the snakes, to be honest.
Drowning with rats is both the worst way to die and the name of a punk rock band. It is horrifying it's just horrifying on multiple levels. So, Indian Elsa. I was saying earlier, like, I think you heard me talk about this a little bit, though, I think.
Yes, a little bit.
Elsa's character was very interesting because, you don't, like, I don't know where to lean on it because I want to sit there and say, this is horrible because she became a fucking Nazi. Like, looking at the progression of women in this series.
Yeah.
Kind of a downward spiral. But
to be
she was
fair,
powerful.
Right. At that point in time, I heard you mention it before, but it's like if you weren't on their side, you were dead. So it's like
exactly.
Not to condone the actions, like you should never bow into that whatsoever. It's still fucking wrong no matter what you do.
No.
But
yeah, we're not condoning the generals because that's like a Nuremberg is
a
trial.
No,
it's like
them.
no. But at the same time though, there is this a thing where it's just like there were people that may not have reveled in burning books.
Right.
But
because during that whole scene, she was really broken up about it. She's like, I don't want to be a part of this.
And I'm sure some older people felt the same, but again, at the time, like in real life. But again, what could you do?
Right, exactly.
I'm but
I feel like she wasn't inherently a bad person. She just got caught up with the wrong people, and that shit happens.
But at the same time, I did say this earlier. It does feel
Yeah, all in all, I did like her character. It was sad that she died at the end because I thought she could have really made the 180 and been a better person afterwards. But
yes,
they really, I think they had to use that to be for Indiana's dad,
of course,
Dad, you've been chasing this thing all your life. It's I can reach it, I can get it for you. It's Indy, I value you. You were my son. Let's get out of here. I thought that was a nice moment. It kind of beats me up a little that they had to kill off Elsa to show that point, but at the same time, it makes sense how they did it. It was a good scene.
It was just really frustrating because even if you put aside the fact that she was a Nazi, then it does feel like she's powerful. She's a lot better than I can't remember her name from the second film.
Willie.
Willie, thank you. In my head, I was like, it's a name like John, where you're like, that's usually a guy's name. But,
right, yeah.
Yeah, Willie. A lot better than Willie. And frankly, I feel really bad with what they did with Willie. But so she's better than Willie, but at the same time, though, it does feel weird because in a way it feels like, not completely, but a little bit like, oh, the second Indiana Jones came into her life, I said it earlier, magical penis.
Right.
Cured her. And she was like, I mean, I was a Nazi, but then American penis came in here, and I don't know. I really don't know anymore. What I did think was horrifying, though. Horrifying, like funny, but horrifying. Was like, I really enjoyed our time. So did I. She's not talking to you, and oh, good God.
Yeah, that was amazing. That's the other thing I love about this movie, like the comedy dynamic between him and his dad. Like, they flip-flop between, like, serious moments where, like, Dad, you weren't there for me as a kid. It's like, and yet they go between, like, you know, I really enjoyed our time together. Oh, so did I. Oh, dear God. Like, and just like even the stupid jokes, like when he saves his dad and they were fleeing, and he's like, sometimes I find if I just sit down and relax, and he leans back in the chair, and Indy's like, oh, and he like starts falling down the staircase. He's like, a solution presents itself. And it's like, I honestly, I love the humor in this movie. It was just perfect. Like, the chemistry between him and his dad was perfect.
Apparently, Connery suggested some scenes, and I don't know which ones he did, but I definitely think that the comedy duo, but you know, the dynamic between both of them, dynamic duo, if you will, between both of them, it was a lot of fun to me.
Oh yeah.
Even with the guy they brought along, Mr. British is what I will call him, Mr. British. It was the
Marcus.
best thing ever. Marcus, yeah, it was just you just had Indy's dad just. You brought him along, he wasn't ready. Like, I'm sure Marcus is doing just fine right now. He's, no, it was the scene where it's like, Marcus will blend in and you'll never find him.
Yeah, he speaks 7 different languages. He knows all about culture. He'll blend in. You'll never see him again. With our luck, he's probably already gotten the Grail. And it's like, oh, you thought this through, son. Shut up, Dad.
No,
like,
I just loved it because
we just got
him. Oh.
Shit.
Yeah, no, what's even better, what I think is better is just the guy. It's just like, oh, where are my papers? Run. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Oh, that was beautiful. Yes. I believe his name was Saul.
Yeah,
I think that's what his name was. I love his character too. It's like Saul's probably already met up with him. It's like, oh, there you are. It's like, do you really think he's gotten the Grail already? No, he sticks out like a sore thumb. Guy gets lost in his own museum. It's like, oh, dear God. He's like, does anyone speak any bit of English? Oh, no.
Yeah, no, it was so much. I think they were a lot of fun. I want off this plane. I want off this. I'm sorry. I want off this thing. Gets thrown off of it by accident.
Yeah.
Where's
Marcus?
It's like, fucking fun. My God.
Oh God. Yeah.
Oh,
that was beautiful. Oh, hide in here. Hide in this door. Closes it up. It's a Nazi truck. Damn.
I got so mad. I was like, you just hand-delivered him to the Nazis.
After you told, like, the whole thing, papers, please. Yes, right here. Run. It's like, what? It's like, oh, Egyptian mail. I just got it this morning. Run. Oh, yeah, here you go. Just read them today. Run! To the point where he punches the guy out, and he's like, go!
You idiot! Run!
Oh, my God.
And I love it. He's just like, why did you do that? It's like, run! One thing I want to say, though, about Indy and Elsa, I am now, knowing that this is such a weird sentence, knowing that Elsa's a Nazi, I'm okay with them having sex. What the fuck? Basically, the fact that, in my opinion, she wasn't meant to be a full-on love interest, like love,
because of her darker nature. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm okay with that because
the trickery
in a way
that was behind.
Exactly, she was doing that to fool him, so she got the upper hand.
And honestly, okay, usually, I feel kind of weird about when a female character, like, that's the only reason a female character is there, to fool the, you know, quote unquote hero. It's like with your womanly wiles to get, you know, the book that they needed. But I felt like it was appropriate here because, I mean, you even pointed it out yourself, Indy kind of falls for a lot of women, or is kind of a womanizer sometimes, because he travels the world and kind of gets with people. It's like, so that finally bit you in the ass, huh? Sorry to hear that. Not.
Yeah, I'm okay with it because it's a strange thing, because what ends up happening is that you can either go one of two ways with it. You can either go, oh, she's being used as a plot device just for sex, or that sexuality is powerful.
Right.
You know? And because she kept on being in the movie after that sex scene.
Right.
It
and
was okay.
Technically it
she
really wasn't a sex scene, but it kind of just alluded to it. And Indy's like,
well,
I love
course,
Venice. It's
course.
like, yeah.
She's like, how did you know my vagina was named Venice? He's like,
oh my God. I don't care anymore.
Yeah, he's just like, I think we're good here.
That's also the thing. Like, that wasn't the first way she was introduced either. She was the archaeologist they were supposed to meet up with, and she knew a lot about the tomb in the library. Granted, she didn't find it per se, but she didn't have the journal either.
Yeah.
But she knew, like you said, she was on Indy's level. Like, I know what you're talking about. Let's look over here. You know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know, and that was
even
nice.
Her
I was
attitude,
glad they had that. Oh yeah,
yeah. Like, even her attitude was very much so just him going, hi, so maybe we should do some of this. No. Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I would enjoy. I'm sure you would.
Yeah.
Right. Hey, I will admit,
I enjoy
though,
this even more now. I bet you do.
Yes. Yeah, I will admit this. The only problematic thing about the sex scene that I really do have to mention, or at least the alluding to it rather, is that he just immediately kissed her right on. It's kind of like, like, you know what I mean? Like, just forceful kiss. Like, it was very fucking forceful. And it was, I'm sure, again, they were going for, and I say again because you talk about Bond relating to, Indiana Jones. I'm sure they were going for, like, a Bond thing there, but it was still just as creepy as when Connery did it. Like, it wasn't any less creepy. It was still fucking creepy. I don't know how they felt about it at the time, but it's still fucking creepy now. At least it is creepy now. So I wasn't a big fan of him initially doing that. But again, no matter what, she was going to sleep with him, apparently, because getting information, gaining his trust. Though fucking his dad just, so how'd you know she was a Nazi? She spoke like them. Just his look, just the look that he gave him.
Yeah.
It's just like, really? The German accent was the only thing? Like, really? I love it.
You didn't see the, the shoulder band when you took off her shirt? It's like, you shut up. You fell for it, too. God damn it.
What I love so much is them arguing to then start a fight.
Yeah.
It was great. Like, just fool the opposition. I was like, that's a really nice father-son duo thing to do.
Yeah. Oh, God. Well, that's like when I was, when he was arguing with him and he goes, you didn't trust her, did you? I didn't. It's like, no, Dad, of course I didn't trust her. Well, apparently you trusted her enough to give her the journal. Like, I don't have time for this right now.
Basically. Yeah. Oh, by the way, so I'm being somewhat serious here. The betrayals at that point, though, like with him and then the other guy, with her and then the other guy, the betrayals got so bad I was just waiting for Indy's dad to pull a gun on him. So you thought I was in this for the grail, huh? Like, what the fuck are you doing, Dad? Like, Dad, what are you doing? I'm not really your father. Pulls off the mask. I'm really
He's Hitler.
Oh, God. We both went in completely different directions.
Both of them were pretty bad.
By the way, he would be a biological woman, right? Just with the Sean Connery mask. But still with the Sean Connery voice, though.
Oh, God.
Do you not remember the soothing voice that sung you to sleep as your baby? Oh, God, I do. You've repressed those memories. Because listen to my voice. Or Hitler, apparently. I love the scene with Hitler which is something I never thought I'd really say unless I was talking about the producers. I love the scene with Hitler.
Oh, that was beautiful.
Because, it was just so funny because in my head I'm like, that is in fact how narcissistic Hitler would be. If he had read the journal, at least for 5 seconds, it would have been like, what is this? But no, just,
if he had read the journal for at least 5 seconds, he would have been like, this is what I'm looking for. Kill these men. They're the Jones brothers. The Jones brothers.
Well, it's funny. The Jones brothers. I feel like Connor would say that. I'm sure young, it looks like we're brothers. Which, to be fair, it's funny. While they don't look like brothers, I would say uncle. Because, like, you look at Indiana Jones at that point, he's old enough. Although they had kids young then. So he could still be, like, 20 years younger younger than him, and it's not that bad. But it's just Hitler is such a fucking narcissist. It's great. Like, even though he's in my army, he clearly wants my autograph. Of course he would. And it's like, you fucking piece of shit. But anyway. So, I love that scene with Hitler. And I'm surprised they actually showed him. I'm surprised they showed Hitler. Because usually movies either try to shy away from that. Even if they're going to have something to do with Nazis, they try to shy away from showing Hitler until the epic moment where your main character punches Hitler.
Right.
Like, at that moment.
And in this one, he gets his autograph. And honestly, I feel like it was great because the scene before, like, Indy's talking with Elsa and saying, give me the journal. She's like, I can't believe you came back for the journal. You came to Berlin. Like, Hitler's literally, like, 50 feet away from you. And he's like, I'll do anything to keep it out of hands of people like you. It's like, she's like, oh, people like what? I did what I had to. It's like, yeah, and you're the kind of people that, you've allied yourself with the people that stand against everything that is in this journal. Like, it's basically, the Holy Grail and, legends with Jesus and God and all that. It's like, you're against everything that's in this journal. I'm taking this. Bye.
Yeah.
And then they have Hitler literally sign his name in it. Like, just the irony of that. I was just like, oh, if that has got to be one of the biggest blasphemies I've ever seen, and it's hysterical.
Yes. One thing I want to say is that looking at Indiana
Jones' face, I'm surprised it just
didn't
burst into flames right then and there.
Yes, when Indiana Jones realized that Elsa was a Nazi, it was hilarious now seeing it without the sound on, because as many of you know, if you're longtime listeners, I'll watch the movies again in the background. They'll be on in the background as you and I are talking about the whatever it is. So I just watching this, his face, all I heard is, how many women have I slept with that are Nazis? Like, how many women? Like, all the women he's ever slept with.
Or were secretly Nazis.
Were secretly Nazis. Even people he hasn't slept with. Like, Short Round is just like, I praise Hitler, Dr. Jones.
What is this?
Literally, Indy's like, what is all of this?
It's like he just wakes up at his desk like, oh, God. I got to stop grading papers at 5 in the morning at the end of the semester.
Thank goodness none of that ever happened, and nothing bad ever will. Fucking Shia LaBeouf walks into his room. We gotta catch aliens! Just do it! Do it!
Oh, God. Oh, you're going to have so much fun with that movie.
Let your dreams come true.
Oh, God.
You want to catch aliens? Just do it!
Oh, my God.
So I have a really... Well, no. Let's not get to my really stupid question for right now. Actually, no.
Okay.
No. Actually, no. We're at my really stupid question. But you can go first if you want to.
I was going to say, looking through my notes, I like the parallel that they had between... Let's see. We've done a plane propeller. Ooh, let's do a boat propeller this time.
Yeah.
Like when he was talking to the guy from the Secret Society before he knew, it's like, oh yeah, they're trying to help us in protecting the Grail, and they're just like checking us out to make sure we're legit.
Right.
But it's like in reverse. It's like, oh, I'm prepared to die. I don't need to get out of the way. You, on the other hand, I know you're going to jump out of the way. It's like, no, I want you to tell me where my dad is. Looks at the propeller, looks back at the guy. I know you're going to jump. no, I'm not. Looks back at the propeller. Oh, God, it's getting closer. Like, oh, God, that was hysterical.
I know what you
and
are.
the fact
I know what you
when
are.
they
What
were,
am I?
then they, we also have boats now, so they jump in the speedboats, and they get away from the guys, which I actually feel bad for them now because they got blown up and crushed. Oh, God. And they really actually weren't bad guys. But they didn't know that at the time, so. They did punch out Marcus, which I don't think was really called for. But
I love it. Well, if you punch out Marcus, you probably deserve a swift death.
I mean,
at
least he was quick. But like, all I could think of was like, oh, don't go between them. Go between them. That's crazy. No, I said don't go between them.
Oh,
like, I heard you say do it. He's like, no. And all I could think in my head was The Empire Strikes Back and Han Solo going through the asteroid field and Leia saying, you don't have to do this to impress me. He's like, they'd be crazy to follow us, wouldn't they? Like,
yeah, basically. I'm surprised.
God.
I think this is the one movie out of all three, and I'm being serious, that nobody had a Yankees hat on.
No, you sure nobody in Venice in the background had a Yankees hat on?
Yeah. No, I was 95% sure that when we had seen Sean Connery, he was going to have a Yankees hat on.
Yeah.
I mean, because in the first movie we had Indy's random friend who was he's just like, start the frickin' plane, that guy. And then in the second movie we had Short Round. Right. Yeah. We had nobody here with an Indy hat, with a Yankees hat on. I was a little sad about that. It's like no Yankee love at the Third Reich. Really?
Oh my.
Whatever.
Hitler has a Yankees hat on. Oh, and we've gone and ruined it.
It's just like, oh no, it's Hitler is just. I feel like it's funny. I feel like just out of any any U.S. team, I feel like Yankee would not be the one he would choose just by name alone. Just by name alone, I'm just gonna feel like Yankee is not the one he'd go with.
Right.
But anyway.
Oh.
What?
One other Star Wars reference I thought of, and I realized, oh right, that's not what he was saying. When you find out that Walter, the dude that sent Indy in the first place, was working with the Nazis, and Indy's father is like saying to him, oh, I never trusted you. You would have sold your mother to. He said Etruscan. Now, when I first heard it, I thought he said Tusken Raiders, as in on Tatooine, and I was like,
no, I'm sorry, who said
wait
this?
A minute.
Which one? Who said this again? Sorry. Oh, of course, it's the fucking accent.
Yeah, and I'm like,
thank you, Connor.
Wait, did he just say what I think? And I had to actually like go back a split second and like, no, of course he didn't say that. Like, we're still grounded in reality in these movies. Okay.
Walter Calrissian.
Did we just? Yeah, it's like, did we just have a slip? Like, did someone like watch Star Wars before filming that day and they just slipped it up that one time? It's like, did Connery do a Star Wars marathon?
But yeah, so my question is, and it sounds really stupid, but I'm just really confused by this because it seems like nobody just addressed it mid-movie.
Right.
You drink from the fucking chalice, you're immortal, right?
Right. Yeah, or that's what it seemed. Yeah, I mean, because that's how the knight survived. Drank is immortal. Yeah, I know. I actually don't know if they keep up with that or not.
Why would? What the fuck? Like, I'm sorry. I'm fucking sorry. No, but it cured the dad at least. So I'm fucking sorry. It's not like it had no look. If it didn't cure the dad, I'd be like, this is. I know it would have been really bad for this movie, but it would have been like, okay, but it makes sense. Indiana Jones is now not immortal. But it's not even, by the way, it's not even like he drank a drop. He fucking slurped that thing.
I mean,
he chugged that fucking thing.
He did just run through a desert and fight a guy on a tank and live through it. It's like, and then go through the trials to get the. I would assume he'd be pretty damn thirsty at that point.
Of course. But the problem is that he's fucking immortal, and nobody talks about it. Now, I know it's like, oh, well, he has to save his dad. And
we just didn't think about it at the time.
No. But they had a lot of shit going on. But I sat there, and it's just like, just let it go. And I'm like, you can let him go. He's fucking immortal. He's fine.
Oh God, you're right. Well, see,
Although,
okay.
Well,
I think the loophole is that. Now I'm not sure because all they technically proved with it is that you couldn't take the Grail itself past the seal.
Right.
But I get the feeling like the powers of the Grail probably like maybe only work within the tomb. So once he left, he's not quote unquote immortal anymore.
But then his dad should have died.
Well,
his dad should have been reshot.
He healed his dad within the tomb.
Oh, yes, but what I'm saying is if you're saying, oh, when you leave the tomb, it negates, as in like, I'm immortal, and you leave the tomb and it's like, oh, he's not immortal anymore. That means that if you're shot, when you leave the tomb, you're bleeding again.
Yeah, I mean, it was only a flesh wound, so maybe God was I'll let that one go.
But I'm saying in my head, I'm like, you just get re-flesh wound. That's wounded. That's okay.
Yeah.
Also, but anyway, I'm not saying, look, I understand. I get it. Like, you're not supposed to think that hard. But, like, when you give your story immortality and two of your characters drink the immortality fucking water, I know it's the chalice that made it immortal, but still, although I'm sure the water had to be holy of some kind. But still.
I would assume so too, yeah.
Yeah. You still, when you fucking drink holy water with holy chalice, I'm going to assume that shit's kind of a long-term investment.
Yes. I'm going to assume that you're immortal. You
know, until proven otherwise. And they didn't say shit about it. Now, I know technically it's like, well, again, you know, maybe you could argue, oh, no, it only works in the temple. So if you leave the temple, you're not immortal. That's why that guy was immortal. Had he left the temple, he would not have been immortal.
He would have died.
Although here's the thing. They didn't say that. He just said, I'm a guardian. I have to stay here. Not, I need to stay here. Like, it is my job, and I take my job very seriously. Not, if I step outside the temple, I turn to dust.
Like that other guy? And I really don't want that to happen.
I'm happy, by the way, that moment and the head getting chopped off moment were the two, I guess, gnarliest moments in the movie. Because it's okay to have moments. Yeah, like it's okay to have moments like that because, I mean, you saw what happened in the first one. And I was like, good God, but it's okay. It was only that one scene, so that's fine.
Right.
But,
and that was
the
big
second
one with shock value. It's like, okay, got it.
Yeah, but in the second movie, it happened a little bit too much, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, where it's kind of just like, oh, let's hang them here, and then
it happened a lot too much.
Yeah, in my opinion. Oh, by the way, I love talking about Indy and his dad, the juxtaposition a little bit. I love just when they're on when he's in the bike with the car on the side, and Indy's just having his Indy moment of like, yeah, but his dad is just very fucking dignified. It's like, yes. So Indy calms down. It's like, yes, I'm near my dad.
It's funny, like, I guess, like he's dignified so he doesn't let his emotions out, but I always thought of it, it's like, Indy, you just killed two men. They were Nazis. They were still men. You still murdered them in cold blood. They were Nazis trying to kill us. It's like that still doesn't, it's still a sin to murder someone else. It's like, would you rather us be dead in the road back there and the Grail in their hands? Son, don't argue with me.
No, I love it. Would you rather have us been dead in the road? Well, you shouldn't have trusted her. That's irrelevant now, Dad.
Right. See, because that's how I always felt. But the scene that just pissed me off with that was when they get away from the airplane. It's like, oh, geez, that was a close one, and the airplane drops a bomb on them, and they flip over. It's like, so they lose the car, and they're running away in the plane. They're on the beach, and there are seagulls. So the plane is coming back in at them, and he's like, oh, let me scare the birds to blind him and, make him crash. It's like, so wait. Now, okay, I get the whole thing of, humans are a little different than animals, but, like, completely okay with, like, slaughtering these birds, these poor birds, to make the plane crash, but not okay with killing Nazis.
Are these birds from the 16th century? No.
then we're good.
Then I don't care. It's like, you're
were
fucking hypocrite.
were these birds found in an ancient temple? No. Then here's a chalice, drink a little bit and go fuck yourself.
See, I would have loved it if Indy just turned around. It's like, but aren't all creatures God's creation, Dad?
I think you might need some go fuck yourself too, Sean. Junior.
But yeah, so apparently Indy and his dad are immortal, and no one's just acknowledging that.
Nope.
I'm
no one's
assuming Crystal
that.
Skull did not, but my God, if the new one does. I know Harrison Ford is actually aged. You know what's interesting?
Yeah.
You can age. It's just that you don't get sick.
Right.
Because again, there's different kinds of immortality depending on, how it's on what media you've seen. Same way that time travel is done differently depending on what media you've seen. Same thing with immortality, right? Because you have immortality that's just like I am the same age, a bit like vampirism, where it's like I'm the same age no matter what. Like if I was immortal, if I was turned, quote unquote, or made immortal, whatever it is, at this point,
I am frozen
will never grow
in this
older.
moment of time the way I am right now. Right.
Yes. Or there's I can live it's interesting. I can live through anything, but it's still gonna hurt. Please don't do that.
I'm still gonna age. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Or if not age, at least age, yes, but just in general, I'm gonna cut off your arm. Doesn't mean I can regenerate, asshole. Let's not do that. I'll live through it.
Please don't cut off my head and
hurt.
put it in a jar.
Exactly. Shit like that.
Yeah.
So there's also that. Or there's number 3, which is, I'm immortal unless I'm physically harmed. As in, I can't die of a heart attack, but if you cut the heart out of my body, I'm going to die. So let's not do that, shall we? Because, again, there's different kinds of immortality. So it's very interesting. So I don't know what kind Indy may have, if at all, because, again, we don't know what's going on. I'm sure none of that was addressed in Crystal Skull because that's where you fucking wanted it to go. Okay, well, we'll find out when we actually do the episode eventually.
Because I only saw it, once or twice, so I don't remember if they...
Because it was Crystal Skull.
Yeah. Oh, I do want to mention... I love the scene, they're tied together, roped, tied together, and, he says, burn through the ropes, and he drops it. That is one hell of a powerful lighter, because it just immediately set the floor on fire. It's like, okay.
Oh, you didn't realize, Hitler always coated his rooms with gasoline, actually.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, no, it was... Got it. No, it's fine. It's actually not a lot of people know about that, mostly because it's not true. But a lot of people aren't aware of it.
Right.
So
good.
Yeah, those
good to
guys
get it out
bringing
there.
you.
Right.
Yeah, good to get it out there.
But I love the fact Indy's basically just swiveling around in the chair like, Dad! He's looking the other way. What? Dad! What? Dad! What? Head for the fireplace! As the whole room is setting on fire. They're just screaming at each other, turning their heads the other way, trying to look at each other. I'm like, this is beautiful. And then it just gets worse because they hit the fireplace, and it's like, there's a Nazi base, secret communications base on the other side of this wall. And they're just like, hi there. And the woman's just like slowly smiling, like, hi, kill them! It's like, oh, crap. It's like, house burning down, or room with Nazis and guns, which they were shit shots for one thing. Like, I granted it was a surprise and they had to, draw and then shoot, but, the wall hadn't switched to the point where they were, missing all the time. Somebody would have at least caught their legs, holy crap, you guys were shit shots.
The parallels between the Empire and the Nazi regime just
shut up.
Become ever so. Look, I'm just saying they just come ever so close as it goes on. What I will say that is a strange thing to say. I don't know if we should end the show on this, but I think we should. Normally, when someone dresses up a main character dresses up in a movie as the bad guys, you know, and kind of goes around. Like, you can say, speaking of the relation to Star Wars, oh, yeah, that person looks like a stormtrooper. Why? You put on the outfit. You know? That's that. Right?
Yeah.
You put on the outfit, you're a stormtrooper. Here it's just like, oh, yeah, Harrison Ford does look like a Nazi. Like, that's really rough, man. No, I'm like, for Indy to just blend in so well, it kind of must be a little rough. Like, huh, it sucks for me.
Right.
Like, I apparently just kind of look like a Nazi.
Oh.
Huh.
I guess if you want to, like, before we wrap up, I just wanted to say, like, a few, like, one or two more things. Okay, I'm sorry, I like these movies. Shut up.
No, please do. We have the time.
Okay.
We have time to play.
I love the when they were on the Zeppelin and they're trying, you know, they're just about to take off, and it's like the guys come on, and he's like, all right, I'll handle this, and he's just going around asking for tickets because Indy steals the getup, and you know, the Nazi captain goes up to him, he's like, oh, I found your dad. It's like, ticket please, not now. Ticket please. Look, you. Boom! Just punches him straight across the face and throws him out the window. And everyone's like, oh my God, what did you do that for? It's like, no ticket. And everyone just starts flailing their tickets around. I literally died.
Yeah, no.
That's
aristocracy.
Probably one of my
Scared
favorite
aristocracy
jokes.
is hilarious. Just,
yeah.
Oh no. Oh gosh, we need a ticket. It's like, oh.
And when they're flying away, when they have a plane and they're getting away, and he says, 11 o'clock. What happens at 11 o'clock? 11, 10, 12, fire! And he just shoots out the tail. And it's like, what happened? I'm sorry, son, they got us.
That was one of the funniest scenes in the movie.
Was beautiful.
Him shooting his own plane. And I was like, so is he going to tell him or is he not going to tell him? So they got us? Yes. Sorry, son.
I'm sorry, son, they got us.
God damn it. I was like, fucking God damn, that's great. I think that, like, while the movie could have still worked without some of the comedic moments, I admit it could have, but I really like that they added all that in because, adding that in that way, it really made me feel like, like how in the first one you had those comedic moments to make sure, to make things a little bit lighter. And I feel like, well, again, Temple of Doom, we had some funny moments. But without them in there and the movie being so dark no, we did have some funny moments in there. You and I both know. But also, the problem is, and you and I both agree, the comedy in that one was a little bit more, not self-deprecating, but it was more deprecating to Willie, and that was a problem.
Right.
Where it was okay the first few times. It happened so many times that it was like, okay, guys, can you just do something else? Whereas here it was, by adding in Indy and his dad, well, first Indy had to be here. By adding in his dad, you were able to kind of make fun of or make a joke about both of them, rather than it always having to be about, let's say, Elsa, right?
Right.
And I think in that
they made another archaeology joke together too. Like when he pops out of the tank, like when they're fighting on the tank, he pops up and he goes, "You call this archaeology?"
Oh, yes, of course. Which is hilarious because, again, his dad is much more laid back into his books. And Indy likes reading, too, of course. But he wants to go on the adventure to get the stuff.
Right.
Also, my question, here's what I really wanted to ask you. So at this time, 80s, we're talking about when it filmed. At least early, we're talking about the first movie. So in like 80, 81, let's say. Not 88, right?
Right.
Did they as in like, archaeology community, no, we really should not be taking these items from this place and bringing them to our museums. It belongs to the museum in that area.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Like, that was instated, 60s, 70s, that was finally put into law. Like, guys, this is not cool. Leave our artifacts in our country. Thank you.
Okay, so while that is accurate, when it was being filmed, when the movie was taking place for all four movies, because even the fourth one took place in the 50s, Indy could still legally do all those things.
Yes, in the 30s and 40s, it was still like
20s,
no one was really catching on quite yet.
No. Although, again, he wouldn't have done it, as anyone knows, he wouldn't have done it that way.
Right.
Because that's, yeah, but and it wouldn't be ghosts usually, or Nazis usually. It wouldn't be that way, but it could still technically be accurate in terms of him going in there with usually a team and saying, oh, this thing is very valuable, and it belongs in a museum.
Right.
Our museum. It's like, no, Indy, no. You were so close.
Right. Yeah, exactly. That's how I always feel with it. It's like, it belongs in a museum. Right. Their museum. Thank you.
Yeah. Yes,
like,
yes.
That's all he has to say. Like, and
mm-hmm.
like, I feel like my professor would have been like, yeah, you know what? Indiana Jones is actually a pretty stand-up guy to have for our profession. It's like, instead of being like, when people go to you and it's like, oh, you're like Indiana Jones, it's like, you know what? I'll take it.
Oh, no, of course. But I think even at this point, like, as long as Indiana Jones wasn't killing puppies, I think it's just at this point, it's just like, I don't like your treatment of women. Other than that, I'll take it.
Right. Yeah.
Like,
Pretty much.
Yeah. But anyway, so we're going to have to wrap things up here, sadly. We want to thank you all for listening in, as always. And here we are, we're doing the last Indiana Jones movie. But there was we're doing the last. No, honestly, no, we're going to do the next one. I don't know. I assume we're not going to do it for Monday night movies. We'll be doing it for another Friday night movies. But we are going to do that eventually because I want to see what all the fuss is about. Like, there's so much anti-hype that I really want to see it just to sit there and go, oh, it's going to be good. Right?
I mean, I feel like it was okay. I just didn't feel like it was great. That's all.
I know, and I can't wait to hear, because, again, I've heard so much bad, like, negative about it. I want to see it and shit on it on air. So anyway, we'll do that eventually. Now, you might be wondering where to get some of our podcasts. Before I mention that, I want to mention that we have merchandise you can find on our main website, thoseguysonthe.tumblr.com/merchandise. Right, that's the area of the website you have merchandise. Shirts based off of our podcasts and our Let's Plays. I'll get into our Let's Plays in a second because I'm talking about our podcasts, which, of course, those guys on the radio is listening to one right now. But if you want to know where else to get them or where to get updates on our podcast, you can go on our not just our website, which, again, thoseguysonthe.tumblr.com. You can go on our Facebook, which is /thoseguysonthe.radio, our Twitter, which is @thoseguysonthe.radio, and our Instagram, which is /thoseguysonthe.radio. Also, you can find us on iTunes by searching up Those Guys. Now, and on YouTube as well, by the way. We have a YouTube channel with our podcasts on there. Our archive, 300-plus shows, although not all of them are on there, but we're adding them as this podcast is going on. We're adding even more. So you can find our YouTube, which is Those Guys on the Radio. Now, our Let's Plays, by the way, that we're constantly adding more merchandise that's related to the games that we're playing, funnily enough. So you can get that, again, on our website. But our Let's Plays on our YouTube channel, which is called Those Guys Play. Currently, as of this episode coming out, actually, Tristan and I have our episode that we did, our second episode in Season 2, which was Legend of Kage. Right?
Yay!
For the NES. Remember that game? That game was so fun.
I remember dying in it a lot.
Yeah, we did. But next time we do play it, though, we're going to try and beat it for real.
More. What?
Yeah, I did die more, actually. I died a lot more. It's not even a joke. I needed a chalice. I really did. So anyway.
Matt, you're immortal?
So, no, I needed one. That's the problem. I was not mortal. I was not immortal at all. I was, frankly, very mortal. But anyway, so that is Those Guys Play Season 2, Episode 9. So we're currently getting real close to wrapping up Season 2. We've also done our Halloween in July specials in July that we wrapped up as well. Because you have Christmas in July, why not have Halloween in July? So we have that as well. And we have our TG Productions YouTube channel, which has our nerd news show, TG News. And we also, and on the same channel is our show, speaking of Shia LaBeouf earlier, Motivational Movies, where we take clips from Shia LaBeouf's 30-minute rant, and we put that to public domain movies such as Night of the Living Dead, Debbie Does Dallas, and some more that you'll be seeing in the next upcoming weeks. We release one every week. So check out our YouTube channel, TG Productions, to see some of that and see how silly it is. So anyway, we're going to wrap things up right here. Thank you all for listening in, and say good night, Tristan.
You call this archaeology?
Good night, everyone.